Welcome back to the Swim Doctor's office. Here, I'm going to be going over some Swim Doctor swim tips for you. Now here's a question for you. What lessons should you be teaching your kids at what age? Now it sounds a little bit confusing, let me explain. And make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. That way it helps me out, keeps me more motivated to, keep pumping out this content. So at a certain age, they're going to be able to progress on to more and more steps, getting more and more independent in their swimming. And let me go over what age groups those are and what sort of lessons you should be teaching them at that age. So first step is a parent taught class. And that's from the age of 3 months to maybe about 3 years old, generally. In this class, you're going to be doing a whole lot of singing and just getting the kids used to being in the water. Because that's the most important thing, is getting them used to being in the water and relating that to a fun time. That way, when they get older and they do swim lessons, like actual swim lessons, they won't be freaking out and crying, and then I don't come home with bruises and scratches everywhere. Now the next step we'll call is clownfish. Now that's from the age of 3 years old to about 4 years old. And it's going to be kind of the same thing. It's going to be more of getting them used to being in the water, especially if it's for their first time taking swim lessons. It's going to be a lot of just taking them around in little 15 to 30 second circles and getting them used to being on their backs and they're being on their front, and getting them used to doing a little bit of the arm strokes and a lot of playtime. All right, from the ages of 5 to 12, this is where you're going to be learning more of how to be independent. Now, I'm going to be splitting it up into 4 different sections for that age group. First, we're going to start with C-Star 1. Now, C-Star 1 is more for a kid who has never taken a lesson before, and they're going to be a little bit more afraid of the water. Sometimes, some kids aren't. And it's going to kind of be like a clownfish class, but obviously you're older. So you're not going to be, babying them. You're going to be teaching them to start learning how to be independent. So you're going to have to hold them the whole time, taking them those 15 to 30 second circles around the pool, teaching them the basic arm strokes, and kind of testing every once in a while. This is where they're going to learn how to float independently. So what you can do is you can hold them and then try to have them not hold on to you, and then you release your hands very gently and have them float for however long they can, and keep doing a progression. So, a second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, that kind of stuff. Now the next part is C-Star 2. Now C-Star 2s are going to be pretty much independent. They're not going to be able to swim a whole length of the pool. They're only going to be able to swim like 5 yards, but it's going to be independent. So you're having them start on the side of the pool or the wall or the steps, and you're having them swim towards you. So you're having them do the front float all by themselves. You're having them do kicking to you all by themselves. You're having them do the arm strokes all by themselves to you. Now they're not going to be perfect at it, especially if it's their first time in that C-Star 2 category. So you're going to have to, obviously this is about, progressing to the next step. So what you're going to do is you're going to be working with them to go, further and further more independently. Maybe get them to go like half a pool length or something, depending on the pool size. I mean, obviously if it's a small pool, you'll try to get them to go the full pool length. But if it's an Olympic sized pool and you're only doing like short course length, then you're only having them swim about like halfway. Seahorse 1, that's where you're going to get more into, again, if you're an Olympic sized pool, you're going to have them swimming the whole short course length. And like I said at the beginning, they're not going to be perfect at it, and they might not even make it the whole way, but you're trying to get them to that point. So they're swimming very independently, and you're having them go through all the strokes and all the kicks and the glides and that kind of stuff. Seahorse 2, you're doing the same thing, except you're having them just swim more and more laps. You can even go over flip turns. You're going to be going over butterfly with them, and you're going to be going over breaststroke with them. All right, and those are the categories I have for you, and that's going to be the progression of swimming. Come back to the swim doctor's office for more cures.